The Hell Let Loose 2025 roadmap is here. And as usual, there's a lot of content, a lot of reworks, a lot of improvements, and also a lot of stuff that's just missing that people are asking for. So before we jump into it, I do want to say that this roadmap is intentionally vague. It's hard for me to really pass judgment and be really overly excited when I don't know what some of the stuff entails without the specifics. So I'll hold my judgment for a lot of this until it actually comes out or we know more. Without specific information, a lot of this could be this, it could be that, if this, if that. So it's not really worth me forming an opinion or getting too excited about until we have more information. But that said, let's jump into it. Right up here at the top, we have the upcoming content portion. Of course, first up is the new map Tobruk. Most of us have played this or seen it. We know what it's about. This map is great for warfare. It's a fun one. It probably has some of the best urban combat coming to the game. But yeah, we already know about that. The other new map coming this year will be an Eastern Front map. They don't announce what it is here, but my money is on Berlin.
Du wissen, wo ist Berlin?
Berlin? Berlin, hey, klar kann ich Berlin. Ich habe meine Alte abgestochen in den Bahn Berlin.
This is the one Eastern Front map people have been asking for years now, and I feel like a good urban combat map is exactly what is missing in the Eastern Front portion of this game. And I wouldn't speculate too much on the image here. If you look around all the images, they don't really make sense. For example, when you look at gameplay reworks down below, which we'll talk about a bit, they have a picture of the old Sherman there. So I wouldn't think too much into the image here. I think it's just a placeholder showing the Soviets. But yeah, Eastern Front map coming. Hopefully it's Berlin. Moving on, we have a map refresh for Stalingrad, and I'm actually really excited about this one. I think Stalingrad is probably one of my lesser favorite maps in this game. It seems like a lot of people have performance issues on it, but the thing that really bugs me about it is all three midpoints play exactly the same on it, and I don't feel there's enough urban combat on that. So if they can make this map play a little differently while also making it perform better, that's a big win right there. Next up, we have some new vehicles, and this tells us literally nothing here. It just says classified. I will say I will be kind of disappointed if they just add new vehicles without reworking existing vehicles in any sort of way, because I hate the idea of copy and pasting tanks, how they work with the different skin. But yeah, that's just pure speculation here. We don't know what's coming. Next up, we have themed cosmetic DLC. I think this is a great idea. I love map specific content as long as you're not paying for it if it only works on that map. If you're paying for DLC, you should be able to use it wherever you want. That said, if it's just unlockables or something like that, I'm all for it. I love the factions on El Alamein and Tobruk. I hope they do more of that kind of stuff going forward. But again, you should not have paid DLC that only works on one map. And that does it for the upcoming content. Let's move down to the lower left where we have feature upgrades. Right for the top, we have weather variations, which is kind of whatever, I guess. If I had to guess, this just means bringing dynamic weather to other maps. Kind of like how we have dynamic snow on Elsenborn. I could see that going to Foy and Kharkov. With Tobruk, we have dynamic weather. With the sandstorm, I could see that going to El Alamein, along with Purple Heart's rain making its way into other maps. So I bet this is really simple. I wouldn't look into this too much. I just think we're going to get some stuff copy and pasted over to other maps. XP reward systems, this could be big. But again, with how vague this is, I can't really speculate too much on this, but anything that rewards long-term players that have leveled everything up would be really, really cool. I'm a sucker for unlocks personally, so I would love to see more of that. Next up, we have the flamethrower getting a little bit of a rework, and this weapon needs it. Again, it's not the most useful gun in the game, but it is fun. And if they make it a little more efficient against other players, I think it could be even more fun and a little bit more useful, so all for it. After that, we have Archon version 2. Now, this is gonna not affect 99% of players in this game, but for anyone that's done the admin work or runs a server with this game, this could be really good. When it comes to running a Hell Let Loose server, Archon makes things so much easier. And if they upgrade certain ways to admin servers and make it easier for people to run, I'm all for it, because that can turn into a second job for some folks, and it's a lot of unpaid work to keep these servers going. So if it makes it easier for those folks, I'm all for it. Also, if you haven't thanked the people that run the server you're playing on, go do that, because they put a lot of work into it. And lastly, down at the bottom, we have audio and VFX upgrades. So I want to be really excited about this, but I feel like this is something that appears on every roadmap, and it never turns out the way I want it to. Let's be real, Hell Let Loose's main competition is Squad 44, and that game absolutely dominates Hell Let Loose when it comes to visual effects and audio. I mean, if you look at Hell Let Loose, we're still using GIFs as our explosions for when tanks explode explode or any vehicle explodes or bombing runs. It's just a gift. So it's in desperate need of some new FX. And not to mention the audio in Hell Let Loose can be a little bit stale sometimes. It needs some more sharpness, some more pop, especially on some guns and explosions. So there's a lot of room to improve here. I don't know if they can do it. Again, this is something that's been on these roadmaps for years, I feel like, and it just never gets improved to the fullest extent that players deserve it to be at. So again, very vague here. Don't know what this means. Could be good, might be meh. Next on over, we have gameplay reworks. Right off at the top, we have Precision Strike, and I don't know how much this can be reworked here. I know it kind of glitches out sometimes against tanks. You can have a direct hit and it doesn't kill it. Same with garrisons. So I'm hoping that's just part of the rework. If they are planning on changing the cooldown of it a little bit, I hope they raise the price of it. This basically could be a delete tank button, so this might become very overpowered really quickly, so hopefully they're careful with that, whatever they're doing. Then after that, we have what might be one of the biggest things on this roadmap, an artillery systems rework. There's nothing implied here on their thoughts of it. This could be so many different things. You might be able to blow up the arty guns, mortars might be introduced. Who knows? But the fact that they're going to take a stab at it this year is awesome. Players have been asking for this for a long time, so props to them for giving it a go. Fingers crossed it improves the game. And if you're a fan of my channel, you know this could be a big one. We have armor systems reworks on here, and I could speculate on this all day. In my opinion, I hope they're doing something that does change how armor works, but also keeping it simple like Hell Let Loose does. I like Squad 44 for what it is, but I do not want an armor system like that in Hell Let Loose. They need to keep it simple, but they also need to improve upon it and get away from the heavy tank meta. And as long as they can figure out a way to do that, they'll be successful in introducing new vehicles into the game. But again, vague here, no idea what's going on with that. And here's an interesting one. Medic rework. Medic is arguably the least useful class in the game because there are no tickets. So this is a tricky one to really rework here without changing how the overall game plays. If I had to guess, it'll be something minor, but who knows? Vague here. Really curious to what they do with it. And lastly, we have bipods. This is another one that players have been asking for a really long time. Hopefully they can figure this out and deliver successfully on it. Bipods are just a mess in this game on what they work on, what they don't work on. So good to see that on there. And lastly, down in the lower right, we have quality of life improvements. At the top, we have increased server controls. Now, this is a really interesting one for me. This could be massive. It could be nothing. When I think of increased server controls, I think of having the ability to actually change how the game plays on a server. For example, if you don't want heavy tanks, you can flip a switch and there's no more heavy tanks. If you wanted to shorten the game length, you can shorten the game length. That's what I think increased server controls is. Again, this could be something totally minor, but who knows? It's vague here. I'm just completely speculating. We'll have to wait and see, but it's really cool to see that on here because it gives me hope for something really big. Next up, we have admin camera improvements. This doesn't affect 99% of the people that play it, but for someone like me that makes content, I got to test this out in the last couple of PTEs, and the improvements are great. It's a lot smoother, but yeah, this is going to be really good for making content. It's not so great for a lot of other people, but I like it. After that, we have user interfaces. This could mean anything. I don't know how to really speculate on this. Last time we changed stuff, everyone got really upset about it. Now we don't care. Who knows? They'll probably do that again. Hopefully it's for the better. After that, we have fixing LOD issues, which I can't be more thrilled that this is on here. LOD issues are a plague to this game across all maps. But again, this is one of those things where they said they're going to fix over years and years and years, and it's just never gotten to the point to where it's actually acceptable in my mind. There are still maps that I really don't enjoy playing, and I will actually leave the server for if they come up because of LOD issues. So hopefully that all gets resolved this year. It's hard to tell right now with how vague this is. Then lastly, we have VoIP post-map changes. If I had to guess, this will just be, you'll be able to communicate with your squad once you get to the end of match screen. Right now, when the match is over, VoIP just cuts off. I bet this will just mean that you can talk to your friends afterwards, which is cool. I think it's a small thing, but it goes a long way. And that is it for the 2025 Hell Let Loose roadmap. And they do say at the bottom, important note, this list is not exhaustive. This roadmap only reflects medium-term development goals and may be updated again in the future. So who knows how much that will actually change anything on here. I will say We might get some surprises. For example, when Free Look came out, that wasn't on the roadmap. We had no idea that was coming. So it's entirely possible we will get some stuff that's not on here. That being said, there are a couple of things that I wish was on here that I'm not seeing, like some sort of tutorial or onboarding new players. I think every player should have to watch a video about building garrisons, supplies, and map control, or be forced to play through the whole process of it in a tutorial before being able to jump into multiplayer, just so people have an understanding of how this game works. And lastly, I wish there were some tweaks to how the garrison meta works in this game. If you've been playing this game for years like I have, you know exactly where every garrison's going to be in a game these days. And I wish there was going to be something done that could change that and freshen up the game a little bit. But that's a bigger conversation for another video. But with all this talked about, I really don't want to pass too much judgment here. This is all very vague, and I don't know what half of this actually entails. So we're gonna have to wait for more detail before I can really form an opinion about a lot of this, because a lot of it does look good on paper, some not so much, like whatever barbed wire is. But yeah, a lot of this does look good on paper, and if they can nail some of this, it could be a really, really big year for Hell Let Loose. And I understand if there's some things that you were expecting to be on this roadmap that aren't, but when you go back and look at the 2024 roadmap or 2023 roadmap, this is actually a lot better than those. So hopefully we get everything that's on here and it's done really, really well. Team 17 will be doing a Q&A session in Discord along with a forum on Reddit where questions can be asked to the devs about the roadmap. So hopefully we'll get a little more information on that. If you're wondering when this is happening, go down to the comments. I'll post it down there as soon as I have confirmation on it. But yeah, hopefully we get more information there. But what are your thoughts on this? What are you looking forward to? What are you missing? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everything you do. See you dudes on the front line.